Okay, guys, what's good, everyone? What is good? Welcome back to the channel with your show, of course, Machiavelli. Hope you all are having a great day today. And today we're back with another Sims 4 speed build. And today's speed build we are making, I have no clue because you guys know it for pre-recording. So let's just get straight into it because this part is going to be, again, it's a continuation of the last part. So now we're gonna get into the gory stuff, the not so good part. So let's get it. So pretty much we left off where Vivi found out, and pretty much everyone found out. Well, not everyone, just Vivi, Anna. I guess Vi knows that because pretty much Vi knows about it now too. So Vi found out, Vivi found out, pretty much the whole family, neighborhood, everyone found out that now that Valen is pregnant and she's off to not abort, my bad. She's off to give up her child for adoption. And so at this point, she just came home from work, frantic because her husband called and pretty much hung up the phone on her and hung up the phone on her. So she had to come straight home. And then she confronted her daughter, who then blamed everything about how bad her life is on her sister, said how how her sister's an H word and how she could do that, and then also blamed her mom for not telling her and preparing them, and being a liar and this and that. And so she ran upstairs at this point, and she ran upstairs. So Vivi ran upstairs, and so at this point, Camila's like, that's one blow. Her daughter just went straight ham on her. She knows she needs to find her husband and talk to him because he's the one who should be hurting the most. And so when she walked into the kitchen, she actually no, first she walked into his office. He wasn't there, but she went to his desk and she saw the papers of. She went to his desk and she ended up finding the papers to the what's it called again, to the not lawsuit, but to the just pretty much stating that the Goths, which is the Goths were the people, Nicholas Goth and E Goth, they pretty much stated that they're not going to be in that child's life, this and that. So she saw that paper, let it be. She'll deal with that later, one thing at a time. And so she went to the kitchen, and that's where she found Zeandre pretty much sitting at the table with a bottle of liquor in his hand. He was drinking. So she knows it was bad when she finds him drinking, because he kind of after the whole situation that happened with him and Jasmine, he kind of promised to never drink again. He said he wouldn't do it. So when he found, and he stayed true to it. He never drunk. So now when she walked in saying found him drinking, she knows that it's bad. So she went ahead and said, I can explain. And then he just said, how long? Like, how long have you known that she's been pregnant? She said she found out, months ago, before she sent them off. And she just said, why don't you tell me? And then he said, there's a bunch of reasons that she don't tell you. She's like, it doesn't matter. And he's like, well, it doesn't matter that, Fallon doesn't want to tell me. Why didn't you? You're my wife, we're a team. Like, even if my daughter doesn't want to know, like, of course she doesn't want me to know. You should be the one to tell me. Like, if she told me, I would have told you. Like, where's the reciprocation there? Like, he went in because, again, let me just explain something real quick to you guys. I told you guys this before, but there's a lot of stuff he's been holding back. There's a lot of things that have went on with them, as you guys know through the story. He's not been an A+ citizen, an A+ husband, an A+ boyfriend, an A+ father. He has not been the best, but he's tried. He's tried to work his way around his mistakes and try to be a better person. And he constantly feels like she's always putting blame on him whenever something's not wrong. It's because she can't trust him over this stuff, even though she's trying. He understands that, but there's some wrong too. Like, she's done some wrong, but he never called her out on that because, again, he's afraid of losing her. He's afraid that once he puts his his input in there, she's gonna get defensive and say that she can't trust him and that maybe it's not supposed to work, and she'll leave him. And he doesn't want that. He wants to make this work, but he's tired at this point. At this point, he's tired of letting Shiz go and not getting his point across. He feels like, going to the counseling they did, it was for her sake. It wasn't for his sake, because they hardly even got his side of the story, you know? It was mainly her getting her voice out there, and it kind of felt like, you know, it was just woe me. I have to deal with this person, you know, and just all about his mistakes. And like she made mistakes too, you know? And so at this point his cup is overflowing with all that animosity he's feeling, and so he let it out. He let her know that, one, you know, he didn't like how she feels like he's walking on eggshells in his relationship, how like he can't do anything. Like if he doesn't come in past, like if he has to stay late for work, he can't do it because she'll think he's out, like, you know, doing somebody. Like he can't drink anymore, even though he likes to go out and drink. He can't do that anymore because she thinks that he's gonna sleep with somebody doing that, even though like he wouldn't do that again. She thinks that way, so he can't do it, you know? And so it annoyed him. He's saying how he's putting so much into this relationship and letting so much slide to make you happy, but yet you won't even have the decency to include me in the parent decisions. Like, I'm nothing, you know? Like these are my children too. Like it takes two of us to make them, but yet you're acting like it's only you that made them. You're acting like you're the only one that gets a say in their future, and that's not right. Even if I have my point and you don't agree with me, we talk through this, you know? Like we're adults, we're parents, we're both gonna have different point of views, different opinions, and we talk through this and we make them together, not separately. I would never take you out of the equation so my point gets across. You know, he just made this point, and then every time and the more he went on, the more angry he came out. You know, he started talking about how he let things go, how, you know, he chose her over his family, how his mother died without him even knowing, you know, about how mad at himself he is that he couldn't even say goodbye to his mom, how he doesn't talk to his sister anymore, how his kids don't even know his parents or his mom or his sister or his nieces or his nephews because of how she feels about them, and how everything in this relationship is how on you feel, not how about me feel, how it's whatever goes by you. And he hates it. He hates that, and he just didn't want to talk about that because he didn't want to upset her, but he doesn't care anymore because she doesn't care about him. You know, she doesn't care that she doesn't care that he has opinions and he has, you know, thoughts, and that he wants the best for his children. She doesn't care about that. All she cares is that she can solve everything, and that she's the star, and that she, you know, is the best mom possible, and that he is gonna sit there and make mistakes, and she doesn't want that, you know. And she's trying to say no, that's not it, but he just kept on going and going and going, and he got heated. Like he just started yelling on the top of his lungs, and she was mind blown that this whole thing, even like he could like yell at her like that. And all she could say was sorry. She's like, I'm sorry, I'll do better. Like, why'd you tell me this? She's like, no, because there's no, like, how do I say this? There's no trust there, you know? She doesn't trust him enough to give him the freedom anymore to live the life he wants to. And he doesn't trust her enough to confide in her to the point where they could have two different, like, views, and she won't leave him. You know, like whenever something gets hard, she leaves. They don't talk about it. She just disappears with the kids, and he hates that. She's done that twice now, and he's afraid that every time like they have into like an argument or they get to different views, she's gonna do that. And so she doesn't trust her in that sense too, and that the relationship, it's broken. It's been broken, you know. They've been just like living this fantasy land that everything would work out and that they could put the past in the past, but they couldn't, you know. She couldn't put the past in the past, and he couldn't put, you know, his feelings aside enough to put the past in the past, you know. So it wasn't gonna work, and he realized that, and honestly she realized that, but it kind of flipped. How, you know, at the beginning it was about him keeping the relationship alive. It was about him keeping the relationship alive, and now it's about her trying to keep it alive. And so she said they can work on it, you know, they can figure it out. She'll start talking to him more, they'll start, you know, communicating better. And he said nothing. He decided that he needed time, and so he went upstairs, he packed a bag, and he left. And honestly, that whole week, she was just a mess. She tried calling him. He wouldn't pick up. He went straight to his sister's house. And you could imagine how bad that situation was. Because again, Zarina doesn't like Camila. So you can already now know that the whole situation, now that the whole situation blew up in her face, you can already imagine that Serena's already telling the most smack about Camila to her brother right now. And so she was worried. She didn't even go to she didn't go to work that week at all. She was just trying to call him. She had to take care of her kids. It's kind of funny though. I think about it now that he kind of left his kids behind, you know, because he needed a break. But anyways, moving on. I just found that funny. But yeah, that happened. And so that pretty much is how season, well, not really how, but that's pretty much the end of how season 6 ended. Now we're gonna get on to the beginning of season 7. So in the beginning of season 7, before we get to the first episode, there's a bit of backstory. So at this point now, Ziandre came back home, and they pretty much, I don't say they talked, but he pretty much told her that he can't do it no more. Like he's done. Like there's too much anger in his heart right now, and that isn't gonna go anyway soon, and that they need to like get a divorce. They need to separate. He needs time apart from her, and she's like, no, we can work this out. He said no, he's done. And so he pretty much told her right there, like, we have two options. We could either, I could either buy you out this house, or you buy me out this house, or we both live in this house. So they decided that they'd both live in this house at the time, and it was agony. Like, it was so bad, like, to the point where it was affecting the kids. Her parents wouldn't talk to each other. When one was in the kitchen, one would leave. It was just ish. So she decided that she would go ahead and live with her brother at the time, just to make it better on the kids. And one, she couldn't afford to keep the bills right now. Like, again, she was literally at the point of actually getting fired, because she's been trying so hard, to get her marriage back by talking to him and this and that, and he just wouldn't. That it was affecting her work, and she actually got fired at that point. And so she couldn't even, so they kind of came to the point where she's like, okay, either I'm gonna leave or you're gonna leave. And she couldn't leave, because if she leaves, she'd have to take over the bills, and she couldn't afford it. She had no job at the time. So she decided that she was going to go ahead and leave, and she went to go live with her brother. And then literally a week after that, that's when Valen came home. She had the baby, and she went through her rehabilitation, I don't know how to pronounce that word, phase, and she's done. And now she fully came home to the mess that was her family. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end off this part here. Yeah, so hopefully I'm explaining this properly. Again, it's been a while, so I'm not the best. You can go ahead, if you want a better synopsis, you can actually go ahead and like watch the first episode and the last you go watch the first episode of the current season I was on my last channel, and that will explain the story that I just told you now better, because that was when it was raw and I just made it. So if you want a better synopsis, you can go listen to that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this part. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll go ahead and see you in the next one. I'm out. This is Peace. Bye. Later. Peace.